Most extreme natural disasters caught on camera, number 20. Have you ever doubted the terrifying force that Mother Nature may unleash? Picture the worst natural disasters ever recorded at their most terrifying moments. Well, you can stop imagining now. Here you will find a selection of the most terrifying scenes from natural disasters that have been captured on film. But before we go exploring, there's something we need to know. Are you courageous enough to see the wrath of Mother Nature? At an elevation exceeding 12,000 feet, Mount Semeru stands as the highest volcano on the Indonesian island of Java, referred to as Mahameru, or the Great Mountain by the locals. This steep-sided volcano has remained highly active over the years. From the 19th to the 20th centuries, it witnessed numerous eruptions, and since April of 2014, it has been continuously erupting. One of the most notable eruptions occurred on December 4, 2021. It is believed that heavy rain caused the collapse of the lava dome at the summit crater, triggering a massive explosion. The resulting eruption produced a towering ash plume, with estimates varying between 7 and 28 miles in height, depending on different sources. The villages situated below the volcano's wrath were subjected to a terrifying ordeal. The aftermath of Mount Semeru's eruption was characterized by sheer chaos. Fleeing for their lives, the local inhabitants hastily evacuated the nearby villages, seeking safety from the looming disaster. Simultaneously, rescue workers valiantly pushed through the perilous conditions to save those in need. The extent of the devastation was staggering, with homes and mosques buried under layers of ash, their roofs barely visible amidst the debris. Trapped inside these structures, it seemed impossible for anyone to have survived the cataclysmic event. This eruption, which occurred on December 4th, marked the largest in recent history for Mount Semeru. In the days following the eruption, the number of displaced individuals surpassed 6,500 as the aftermath extended its grip over 3 districts in East Java. The impact on the affected region was severe, as nearly 3,000 homes were damaged and 24 schools were left in ruins. Lufeng is a Chinese city on the South China Sea coast, to the east of Hong Kong. Because of its location, the city is especially vulnerable to typhoons during the wet season. The 11th named storm of the 2015 summer season made landfall on the coast of China on July 9th. Typhoon Linfa caused significant damage to Lufeng City, despite being only a tropical storm, or at most a Category 1 typhoon. People in Lufeng City had a hard time keeping their balance as the storm raged, and unsecured items were blown all over the place. However, despite the mayhem, some residents kept their cool and shot incredible images of the raging storm. It was a fantastic sight to watch fish swimming through the gaps in the sidewalk, and it was funny to see the plastic stools being blown around by the strong winds. When Typhoon Linfa hit the coast, it was accompanied by winds of more than 106 miles per hour. In addition, it caused rainfall totals of about 10.6 inches across southern China. Nearly 400,000 people lost electricity, and an estimated 56,000 people were forced to relocate as a result of the disaster. As a result of the typhoon's devastating force, hundreds of homes were destroyed, and an estimated $213 million in damages were incurred. The province of Camarines Norte may be found on the northern coast of Luzon, the Philippines' biggest island. This province borders the Philippine Sea. The province and the rest of the country are vulnerable to typhoons because of their location. On November 11, 2020, the nation was hit by the 11th storm of the year, causing widespread destruction. Around midnight, a Category 2 typhoon named Vamco made landfall. As the hurricane raged across Camarines Norte, residents took shelter. Their communities were pummeled by winds that gusted up to 80 miles per hour. Amidst the mayhem, one brave family opted to record the effects of the storm on their home, filming power wires being torn apart by the ferocity of the winds. The region had previously been hit hard by Typhoon Goni a week before Typhoon Vamco hit. Many residences in the Philippines were demolished by Typhoon Goni, and those whose homes were damaged spent days without electricity as a result. Typhoon Vamco hit as the region was at its weakest, compounding the problems that had already been there. The storm caused even more damage to the power lines, leaving repair crews with a huge challenge, getting basic utilities back up. Despite their best efforts, the typhoon presented persistent obstacles that prevented any forward movement. Many homes in Camarines Norte had no access to electricity or the internet by lunchtime on November 12th. As a result, many people were stuck inside their homes and unable to get the food and supplies they needed. The combined effects of typhoons Vamco and Goni were devastating, costing hundreds of millions of dollars in damages. These typhoons were among the most expensive natural catastrophes in Philippine history. The destructive power and unnerving beauty of natural disasters hold a strange attraction. Tornadoes are a prime example of this fascinating but potentially dangerous natural occurrence. They can destroy anything in their path, since their winds can reach speeds of more than 300 miles per hour. Despite our awareness of their destructive potential, we cannot seem to tear our eyes away from them. However, there are times when the location of a tornado on the horizon does not move, instead growing larger. This is a warning of impending danger, which an Illinois citizen actually faced. A mile from his home in Illinois, this man was in a dangerous position when a tornado struck the area. Instead of running away, his first response was to grab his camera and record the mayhem. The magnitude of the tornado increased as it ripped through town, sending buildings and cars flying hundreds of feet into the air. The tornado was headed straight for him and his family without him even realizing it. The camera shook wildly as the fierce winds tore through their yard, uprooting everything in their path. The howling of the wind reverberated loudly across the atmosphere. Broken windows and maybe damaged walls could be seen through the shaky camera, suggesting the severe assault they were subjected to. The dad hurriedly got his family ready to flee the mayhem, knowing that their life hinged on their quick reactions. The disastrous results were captured by the camera. The ripped-off roofs of nearby homes littered the ground. The community will never forget the devastating impact the storm had on them. As the storm passed, they saw that their house had been hardly damaged on the side. Everyone inside was terrified and terrified, yet they all made it through the terrifying ordeal. The yard and everything in it were completely destroyed by the tornado. Known as one of the fastest growing communities in the United States, Hidalgo County is situated in southern Texas on the Rio Grande River. But on June 24, 2019, the Great June Flood devastated Hidalgo County and the nearby Mexican city of Reynosa. More than a foot of rain fell in Hidalgo County during this devastating occurrence, which the National Weather Service has dubbed the sequel after its eponymous sequel. The storm lasted for an exhausting 6 hours. The winds howled violently, whipping sideways, and hundreds of streets were flooded as the storm reached its peak. homeowners who were willing to risk their lives to record the calamity gave new meaning to the phrase Texas flood. They had initially tried to stay near the windows and safe spots, but as the danger increased, they were compelled to seek shelter inside. As seen by the flickering candlelight, the electricity had been off for some time. Remarkably, just 367 days passed before this disastrous sequel hit the Rio Grande Valley, following in the footsteps of a big storm in June of 2018. Damage from both storms was quite similar. The destructive effects of the storm were revealed once the rain stopped in 2019. More than 1,100 dwellings were completely wiped out or severely damaged. The projected cost of the damage caused by the sequel is between $50 and $100 million. We guess it makes you realize how small we are in the face of her fury, doesn't it? Don't forget to hit that like button and remember to subscribe to our channel.